Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully everyone's having a fantastic week or well, start to your week. I'm having a really good day. Things went quite well during the work day today, and then got a lot done after work, and that brings us to now. I was really excited to do the live show tonight. We won't have one next week. We'll cover that later, but really happy to be here with you guys. Hopefully we can get things to comply, and the YouTube servers seem to be working tonight. No problems, no issues. I think we're on a roll lately. I'll just go ahead and get things going. We've got Ken here, Beginner's Tech is here, Scotty is here, Zach is here, Nick is here. Hey guys, good to see you. Hopefully you guys are having a great start to your work week. And I'll go ahead and get things set up. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate that. With any luck. I am still getting used to the new OBS settings. I tried a few new things, as you guys noticed on the stream. Hopefully the audio and the video is good, and we're still stuck with 720 stream, unfortunately. It is what it is. It's just strictly my upload bandwidth. To move to 1080 capable is... well, we'll need some more funding before we can do that. It's ridiculous expensive. David is here. Beginner's Tech says, hey. David says, hey, hey. Cheers, guys. Ken said the temperature is awesome there, 13.2. Yeah, we've been super warm here in southwestern Ontario. It's been awesome. Mike is here too. Gregor is here. Stephen Kibberton is here. Awesome. We got the all-star cast tonight, guys. That's super cool. We'll go ahead. Find my situation, move my microphone. I have to be careful. This mic stand seems to be degrading, and I caught it down on the desk, which happened during our Noe and Pedro live broadcast a little while ago, and you end up with these knocks, horrendous audio. The silly things you got to watch for when you're live broadcasting, but hopefully I catch them all, and we don't have too bad of a deal. All right, let's go. As usual, guys, viewer comments throughout. Apparently twice. We'll do some tech news tonight. We'll cover some stuff on 3D printing. We'll do the viewer challenge this week. A bunch of stuff from the community, hackers, makers, inventors, you name it. A new section, messing with scammers. We'll go over this and how this got started and where we're going to take it, but I think we might be able to make this an ongoing live show fixture. It might be a little fun. We'll do some stuff from the shop, upcoming sneak peek, what you can expect on the channel. We'll do a tech tip of the week because I actually thought to do one today, and that will get us back into the content. And David's doing some stuff on 3D printing. Awesome stuff going on in the chat. Cheers, guys. We'll go ahead and get started. A little bit of tech news this week. So this is a big deal in the last couple of weeks, but Julian Assange, if you're not familiar with him, he is the founder of WikiLeaks. He has been holed up in the embassy for nearly 4 years now. Crazy. It was a big deal last week to find out whether he'd be prosecuted, whether he'd be supported. What ended up happening? Not a lot. Assange was backed by the UN. The United Nations ended up backing him, but that doesn't mean local law will do anything with it or extradition. He's really concerned about being extradited to the US to be prosecuted for some of the leaks of the US military. And I would be too. As well, I think it's maybe Sweden that's after a criminal case against him, but I have no particular loyalty to Julian, but I really stand behind what he did, and I wish him all the best, regardless. I hope he gets a fair shake, and the guy's been holed up for 4 years. Unbelievable. So wish him the best. It is kind of a big deal in the tech world. There's a lot of huge supporters for him, with good reason. I'm a big fan of whistleblowing. Big fan of at least having it as an option. This one, I just had to share this. North Korea sends balloons full of literal feces. I have nothing to say on this besides, how can anyone take a country seriously who does this? Like, seriously. whoever does things like this, how can they expect to be taken seriously on the global stage? Like balloons of feces. Unbelievable. I just had to share this. You can find it on the Mashable site, as well as many, many other news outlets covered this. Those two countries, I don't get it. I shared this one. Just funny tech news. Can anyone confirm this? I shared this to the G Plus community. Mars rover 800 million, team to operate 1 billion, drawing a penis on the surface of another planet. Priceless. Can anyone confirm this is actually a valid image from one of the Mars rovers? I couldn't. I did some Googling around, and all I found was the meme. Just crazy funny, just silly stuff. You can find this posted in the Make Me G Plus community. All right. Not necessarily the best of news, but I thought it worthy of sharing. So this is all over the news. A hole in the Somali plane likely caused by suicide bomber. When will this stop? When will we stop doing these things to one another? Unbelievable. This does seem legit. It does seem that it ended up being, it was a suicide bomber. There was at least one person ejected from the plane. Plane landed safely. Kudos. Awesome stuff. I love the fact that this plane landed safely. Good job. Awesome stuff. But when will we stop doing such foolish things to one another? I just don't understand it. I never will. I know I won't. So it is what it is. And Zach's filling in some of the details on the Assange stuff. And we are good. Let's go. Death of Twitter, trending on Twitter of all places. This was huge in the last week. So I'll give you the cliff notes. The short version is Twitter has announced that they may or may not or will be going to an algorithm-based newsfeed in Twitter versus a chronological timeline. Facebook has done this for a long time now, and they would be going to more that model. There's a lot of advantages to it, particularly for advertising, and there's a few other advantages too, but oh man, has Twitter ever spoke out about this, that nobody wants it. Personally, I'll give my personal 2 cents. I don't want it either. I do not want the algorithm deciding. I like the chronological order. Big fan of it. I like it. If you miss it, it's gone. Well, you can scroll back a long way, but I like that. Keep it simple personally, but a lot of people have weighed in. I don't think there's been many people support it. So we'll see where Twitter goes. We'll see if they listen to the masses, because the masses have spoken on this. So we'll see. And we're good. This was another big one on Twitter today. This is not new. Twitter finally came out in a public statement indicating they had suspended roughly 125,000 accounts linked to terror groups. This is going back months, and 125,000 accounts, that's not very many in the grand scheme of things for how many Twitter accounts there are. But the fact remains that if they're going to try and police this, that's a good thing. It's a huge task. This is not something that algorithms or bots can easily do. YouTube has failed miserably at that in the past with the most advanced algorithms to spot copyright infringement, while spotting terror suspects and bad info being shared on Twitter, that really does take a human touch. So I wish them the best in this. I really hope it works out well, because for a long time Twitter has been used to support some nefarious things. We all know that. It's very difficult to prevent it, and you really don't want to step on free speech and few other things. It's extremely difficult. So kudos to them for trying to at least step up their game and do something about it publicly. They're very hesitant to bring this info to light, because it does bring out a certain amount of accountability to Twitter. So I wish them the best. I think what they're doing can't possibly hurt at this stage. Good job. This one's a little nutty. God, I'm sorry, guys. There's an awful lot of bad news. For the first time in recorded history, someone was killed by a meteorite. This actually happened, I believe, yesterday. It was confirmed it was a meteorite strike, and a person did end up dying, as well as a bunch of property damage. But the relative rarity of this is insane. The odds that they put, I think, well, the odds actually aren't as bad as what you'd think, but the odds of this happening to any of us pretty slim. I thought it worthy of sharing just because it is the first time it was documented as this actually happened. So we won't dwell on that one. I think we're good. Just catching up on the chat a little bit. We got Steven talking about 3D printing. Awesome stuff. No newcomers. Awesome. Thank you, David, for posting the stream. I appreciate that. Very much so. Awesome. So it wouldn't be a complete tech talk without some drone news. It just wouldn't be lately. I found this really, really interesting. So FAA drone registration came out with some figures. More than 325,000 people have registered their drones in the United States currently as of today, at least as of their announcement today. This has now eclipsed the number of private aircraft registered in the United States. That's just unbelievable. 320,000 piloted aircraft registered in the United States, and we have now eclipsed that with the number of registered drones. I don't place a whole lot of stock in the registry itself as accomplishing what they want it to. I truly don't believe it will do what they want it to. Registries usually don't. But the fact that that many people have stepped up and registered and followed the rules, unbelievable. Good job. Like, really, really cool stuff. I'm thoroughly surprised, actually. The number of unregistered small drone style RC stuff out there will far eclipse this number just by orders of magnitude in the long run. But the fact that they've taken the first step and people have actually put their name and info out there, good job to them. Good job. This I found interesting today. Need to call the FBI? Hacker offers you 20,000 numbers. So there was a pretty massive leak. This is just a few hours ago. Personal information on nearly 30,000 government employees dumped, mostly FBI contacts. This is bound to keep happening in this day and age. I can't say as I support it one little bit because I don't see the connection and the need to dump people's personal info. They are real people. They have a career. They have probably a good career, and this kind of action is just foolishness in my opinion. I'm all for whistleblowing, like I mentioned earlier, and exposing those who need exposing, but dumping people's personal info, why do we keep doing this? Hacker groups, come on. Really, like, I know most of them are young, potentially a little foolish in cases, but this stuff lasts forever. This really has a huge effect on people's lives, and unless it's a really, really good case for leaking info, don't leak personal contact info on the net. It just doesn't help anyone. Just silliness. And David said, I think by registering, it sort of says they are responsible flyers. I couldn't agree more, David, that it's the responsible people who register. No question. Those are the responsible ones. And it's not just quadcopters. This encompasses all flying RC stuff in the U.S. The AMA finally kind of rolled over a little bit and reversed their opinion, said, everybody go ahead and register. So these are RC flyers and probably a good bunch of guys. It's good to see them try and do the right thing. Awesome stuff. FDA Guidelines target IoT medical device security. This is a huge one today. You guys, you can check this out. Tech News World, lots of other outlets carried this. Finally, the FDA is setting out guidelines to assess the threat of IoT in the medical world. On the heels of the Shodan stuff lately, tons of medical equipment out there on the open internet, just foolish that it's out there, ridiculous. And the FDA is finally stepping up and saying, hey, we're going to set some guidelines. You gotta start somewhere. Good job to the FDA for at least taking this first step, because no one's done it before. There's been almost no legislation, no guidelines, no rules. There has been a little bit to getting something certified, but having it stamped in stone, hey, it's a good idea. Awesome stuff. Thought it was great. Yeah, I saw that. I think we're good. Thanks, guys. All right, let's have a look. What else we got, guys? Community support time, guys. Remember, I rely on you guys to support this channel. You guys are what bring it out there and make it possible every week. Remember, click a thumbs up on this video if you like these. I don't know, you can click a thumbs down if you want. I don't know why you'd be here otherwise. More than welcome to. Remember to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Share it out if you can. If you choose, you can go down to the Patreon link before. That is what directly brings this content to you. You're welcome to make a donation of $1 or more to support the channel directly, and you will receive access to the extras series of videos as well as my eternal thanks. Last week I was able to get an extras video out strictly for Patreon and channel supporters. It was some video editing workflow that how I go through them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. The feedback I got was great. Thank you guys. Truly appreciate you guys. And community announcements. Not so great one. No live show on the 15th. I will try and resume the week after, but I am taking a little hiatus. I'm going to be gone for a little bit of a vacation, so I won't be around to do the live show. Not much for internet where I'll be. I will try and put some stuff out on social. It'll probably be Instagram, Snapchat, probably. Maybe I'll try and hit up Twitter, but I'm going to try and really disconnect as much as possible. Awesome stuff. Viewer challenge for this week. Every week, I want to see what you guys are making. Post it in the G Plus community or hit me up on any of the socials. You can find all the contacts and the links below. Marco Arduino channel. There we go. Marco Arduino channel shared with us the Digispark ATtiny85 dev board. This is really cool. I haven't got around to playing with the ATtiny85s as much as what I would have liked. And this small dev board, it intrigues me. I like the concept of the dev board and keeping it small, just as maybe a quick proto of the ATtiny stuff instead of having to breadboard it every time, because truthfully, I get lazy and I don't get around to breadboarding it each time. That's why I don't play with them. I would rather just plug something into USB. Well, pretty cool stuff here. Thank you, Marco, for sharing that. Ken Heinrich is here with us, I believe. He shared with us a video of his swag he got from the Light Sail Kickstarter. He's been supporting the Planetary Society since the Kickstarter and shared some of the goodies he got. Pretty cool stuff. I love what Light Sail and I love the Planetary Society, what they stand for, and I love the Light Sail projects, and I can't wait for the new Light Sail to take off this year. I guess we're looking at fall 2016 at this stage. I shared this one out. This is what happens when you reply to spam email. It was a TED Talk. I found it so interesting, and it was kind of a breath of fresh air for a TED Talk. It was something I hadn't seen before on TED. It was more a little comedy related. So check it out. You can find this at the G Plus community below. All right. Catch up on the chat real quick. Zach said he tried to get some activity on his Patreon by releasing a video early over there, but it didn't work. Yeah, I'll be honest, Zach. I think it takes some time. Like, I am even at the early stages where I didn't want to do Patreon, and I was at a point where I had to bring this live show because it needed funding to make the bandwidth happen. And I didn't do it until I knew we had a little bit of a following here. It definitely, you have to reach some critical mass. Definitely have to have a fair bit of content out there before people are going to be willing to part with any money. I do put a little bit of the Patreon funds back into other channels when I can, but I'll be honest, they have to be channels that have kicked out some content, and I try and support everyone else other ways by sharing them here on the live show, as you know. So hopefully that works out. I'm trying to strike a balance myself. That's all over the place. Silly comment. And Multi-Hobby Man said this stuff's way overset. Sorry, buddy. David likes the Digispark. Eric at Digistump sent me one a while back. Awesome stuff, David. I gotta check that out. I think we are good. Nick said, how could you easily program the ATtiny 8545 using Arduino code? Natively, it supports it. Absolutely. Okie dokie, guys. If I can change my screens. I'm still getting used to these new screen changers. So that TED Talk did prompt me to start a new series here, and we'll do it whenever we can. It won't be every week, but we'll try. We'll do some messing with scammers. So long story short, whenever possible, I don't advocate messing with scammers, all that annoying spam you get in your email, but at the same time, if there's anyone who can do it, that is time that the scammers can't spend scamming someone who legitimately will fall for their stuff. So, first up, let's see, how will this work? Can we go on the large? Let's stay on the small. You'll have to go full screen. So, I got this one. Congrats, we're almost done setting up your money system with Easy Money Method. Get ready to bank thousands in mere seconds. He gave me the link. Yeah, don't click links, guys. If you're going to mess with scammers, don't click the links. So here's the link again. One sentence later. Unbelievable. This is my response. Hey, Malcolm, I'm intrigued by your email, and I think we might have spoken on the phone. This is just to bait him just a little bit. There's no chance we ever spoke on the phone, but hey, I cannot seem to get the link to work, because I'm not going to click it. Let me know how to proceed. I'm a bit confused, as I thought we would be setting up something with an automatic transfer. Bait him just a bit more. P.S. We cannot allow my wife to see these emails as we are in the midst of divorce and the lawyers cannot know about any extra funds. Oh, I was so hopeful on this, guys. I was all set. I was just bouncing off my seat. And I get this back. The mail got shut down the same day. Rotten. First step of I think we were off to a great start, and first step, don't. So I have a few more out, and at least one has taken the bait, and we'll see. We'll just see if we can waste some time of these foolish people that try and scam people out of money and succeed now and again. We'll see if we can waste our time. Don't do this on your normal email account, and if you're going to go as far as I might downrange, make sure you set up a virtual PC. It should be kind of fun. And we'll go back to the chat real quick. Zach said, for sure, thank you. Appreciate you taking the time to share out other creators during your shows. Many of my subs came from your shares. Awesome stuff, Zach. That's why I do it. Awesome. And a little bit of laughs for the silly spammer stuff. All right, guys, let's carry on. What time we got? We are going to finish up just a tiny bit early tonight because I have to again. Sorry, guys. From the community of hackers, makers, inventors, you name it, everything goes here. Zach Blog, who is in the chat, shared out. Not that button, that button. Painting and weathering a 3D print. So he took a 3D printed pink PLA skull and weathered it to be out of the ground creepy. You might have saw I shared this on Twitter last week. Really awesome job. I really wanted to share this, because Zach's an awesome supporter of the channel, but I didn't even think. He used paints from the dollar store. There's a whole aisle here in the Canadian dollar stores of just crafts and acrylic paints and you name it. And I usually grab some cheap X-Acto blades and stuff there, but I never even considered the paints for anything. But using them for 3D printing, 3D printed items, never crossed my mind, and Zach showed that they work really, really well. So cheers, Zach. Awesome video. It was really, really cool stuff. Yeah, Jeff is here. Hey, Jeff. David Watts shared his new Finder 3D printer with us. I think David's put out another video since this. David's just jumping into the 3D printing world. Awesome stuff. You can find his channel, David Watts, and make sure you're subscribed. You can hover over his name in the chat and subscribe that way too. Jamie said that email would have never worked as it never existed as an email domain. Yeah, that's true. That is true. And right said this is going to really confuse future archaeologists. Yeah, when they pull it up, made out of PLA for sure. A couple weeks ago, I did a mailbag where I looked at the FPV goggles. These are LCD screen first-person view goggles for RC. This channel, Ultra RC, not a really, really big channel. Looks like only 48 subscribers. I'm subscribed to them. Did a review kind of overview of the V2 of these goggles. Guys, these are a $30-ish FPV goggle. If nothing else, you get an awesome little LCD display for using with your Raspberry Pi projects, like older Raspberry Pi that has the RCA out for the video, like a Model A, or I don't even know. You guys remember if the early Model B had RCA out, or is it just HDMI? I can't remember. Anyway, awesome overview of these goggles. I think they're a superb price. They're not the best, but definitely not the worst either. Good coverage of them. On Adafruit Industries, a channel that just keeps stepping it up over and over and over. Lady8 has been doing a lot on the Pi Zero, a couple of live shows and some collaboration with Hackaday. Awesome stuff. I have yet to get a Pi Zero. I need to jump in the game here and get on board one of these days. But these kind of late night hackathons and play arounds have just been awesome. If you want to see the raw and uncut of making, usually on late at night or later in the evening Eastern time, really, really cool stuff. I can't give them enough credit. What they're doing, awesome work. And I think we're caught up. Let's carry on. This is one you might not have seen. You can find this channel. It's called Amazing DIY Projects, all one word. Not a huge amount of subscribers, very, very similar to this channel. 3D printed jet engine, multiple videos on this channel. And first off, I didn't really give it much credit. I just clicked the link just because I was always curious. I'm a little interested in jet engines, and as I built a gas turbine engine a few years ago. This is actually a relatively functional, proper jet engine, similar to like a JetCat P80 size. He's got it on the bench. It's not just 3D printed. There's some other work involved. I forget the layers he used in it, whether it was like poured concrete or what, for thermal dissipation. I can't even remember. It was like a couple weeks ago, but this thing actually works. I think it's butane he's running it on, and it does spool up and does sound like a small jet engine. It's very, very, very well done. It's really, really neat. Definitely pushing the limits of things we can combine with 3D printing to make a crazy little project. Not something that you can run for very long before it would be self-destructing, but it does work. It's pretty neat. Very, very cool. And Jamie, how is that FreeSat internet thing working? I haven't had the internet set up in the last few weeks since the last video. They're still broadcasting. They've added my Twitter feed to their downlink. I haven't verified that. But the Make Me Org Twitter should be coming down via satellite, and yeah, it works fine. I'll be revisiting that a bunch more in the upcoming months when I start putting together the infrastructure for the portable classroom project that I'm building. Should be pretty good. Should be neat. The Scotty said, would it be unethical to fire your low Earth orbit ion cannon to the scammer's link? Yeah, I suppose you could. But that wouldn't be just fun. I want to just bait them into just wasting time. And I'm not a big fan of using those kind of tools. Guys, you guys can Google low Earth orbit ion cannon and find out all about it. There's lots of people that use such tools. And Multi-Hobby Man, did you see Colin Furs put a pulse jet on a drift trike? Yeah, I saw that. He put a pulse jet sideways. I didn't include it in the show notes tonight. My bad. And PXN America, I found out the North American SAT is DVB-S, not S2, so I can't use the old cards. Yes, that's for the outernet. Yes, you need DVB-S. That's actually why, this goes back to the outernet satellite downlink for those following along. That's actually why I bought the Lighthouse satellite receiver instead of going the route of using my Pi initially, because the DVB-S dongles to decode that to hook into a Pi, the best price I could find shipped to Canada was like 60 some odd bucks, and I could buy the whole receiver for $100. So that's why I went the way of doing the receiver, because it has the Wi-Fi hotspot built in, personally. But yeah, for around here you need the DVB-S. Definitely not a, there's gotta be a way to find those things for 20 bucks. There really is. I just couldn't do it. So PXN America, maybe you can find them. I don't know what that's about. I'll just stay out of it. Carrying on. The Hacksmith, a channel you've seen here before, James Hobson. I did go to his workshop this summer. You've seen a couple of videos on my channel and his back and forth. He did huge coverage this week. He did the Exoskeleton Legs. He whipped up some legs out of some really big ratchets and U-joints and some pneumatic cylinders, and he lifted an Austin Mini, and then he went and lifted a half-ton Chevy pickup truck. This made big news across Canada. It was on all the major carriers. So he's back in the news. This happened a few years ago when he did the upper body as well. So kudos to him. Lots of coverage on his channel, and you can find it on Discovery Network, Discovery Canada, as well as some of the US carriers, but I don't know which ones they are right offhand. Awesome stuff. Congratulations, James. Well done. And cool. Hobby King Live. So if you're into RC, Hobby King Daily and a whole bunch of other, it was announced all over the place. The new Lipo batteries, new lithium polymer batteries that they're kind of flogging right now are these graphene batteries. I'll say right up front, I am dubious to the amount of graphene and the role that it plays in the battery. But every year we move ahead in technology to make these lithium polymer batteries better. And in this case, they're going for really, really high C ratings, which means the amount that it can discharge. Basically, your C rating is the capacity that you can discharge. And they're, I think, all 45 and up C rating, which is, I think, in the high end. They're designed for real high-performance quadcopters mainly, but they cross over into any project. So it's pretty cool stuff. Paul from BMS Web did a review and backed these things as they worked, and they were better. So, and I totally trust what Paul puts out. I don't have one of his videos this week, but you can find him on BMS Web, the channel on YouTube. Well done. Good job, Hobby King. Keep bringing us better products at a reasonable price. If we can only get the shipping down, that would be awesome. And I'm just going to quickly look at the chat. Lots of good stuff. I don't think I'm going to catch up on it. Nope, not going to catch up. Carrying on. Painless 360, a channel I have shared here a few times, getting to be quite a large YouTube channel now, in my opinion. 3D printing for RC. ongoing video series. This goes for any subject, not just 3D printing for RC. What he's doing is comparing strengths versus durability, how they print, some ins and outs of them, because printing for RC it's quite difficult. You need to be pretty rugged to print RC parts, specifically a lot of quadcopter parts. And if you want them to last, well, you have to do the right material and the right printing style. And he's doing a really good video series on this, which is a huge benefit. If we can learn from each other's mistakes and only need to print a part once instead of having it break under use, 2 thumbs up. Really, really cool. Well done. Check out the Painless 360 YouTube channel for that. If you're into Arduino stuff, Educates.tv, a channel I've shared here, almost every week. This is something I've never seen on YouTube, not once, personally. 4.3-inch e-paper display used with Arduino. This is similar to the e-readers that you have, like the Kindles and stuff. Really, really low power requirements and nil power requirements. Once you write to the display, it will hold it. Neat coverage. These things are not cheap though. I think in his case it was 60 some odd bucks, so they're quite pricey for now, until the prices come down, as they always do. A little bit of a price war and they'll come right down to be something like our OLEDs, I'd be willing to bet. But really, really neat tech for something that you only needed to update once in a while, like a really slow moving update, like a very minimal Twitter feed or 1,000 other uses. Really, really cool. I think this is something that we should check out. I'd like to play with one on the channel. Definitely should. And can't keep up on that chat. Tom's Radio Room Show. If you're into amateur radio, check out Hamrad88 on YouTube. He did a recent video on slow scan TV, one of my favorite modes of broadcasting on amateur radio. I love tuning into slow scan TV. Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's very slow scan rate TV. It's not really TV, it's for single images, but you can catch these from the International Space Station as well as from lots of other amateur radio operators on short wave blasting these around the world, and you can pick them up with nothing more than a cheap anything capable of upper sideband short wave, such as RTL SDR with an up converter or an up converter mod, or a cheap upper sideband radio, which you can get under $50 now. Then use your PC to decode the audio. Very cool stuff. Thanks, Tom, for sharing that. Davidvind is still one of my favorite characters from the flight test crew. Our favorite Swede. He has on his YouTube channel, which is getting very popular. Here is why you should remove your props. He has an extreme slow-mo camera, and he's been doing some cool stuff with it lately. This video is self-explanatory. It is exactly what happens when you don't remove your props. I meant to put in a picture of my own to show how I learned to do this. I didn't lose any fingers, but I did destroy a whole bunch of stuff in my basement workshop one day last year. I had a large-scale explosion, and the EPP FPV chewed through its own wing rapidly. Check out the video if you want to see some cool slow-mo of the power that these little Outrunner motors do produce. And go ahead and send this video to those absolutely insane people that are using eagles to catch drones in the Netherlands. Just send them this and make them understand that using animals to catch drones is just foolish. I meant to do a video on this week, guys, so I'd just love to see this video get thrown in their face. I didn't include it on the news this week, but just Google eagles catching drones if you want to laugh. All right, where are we at? Sausage fingers. Awesome stuff. What else we got? M.I. Sperry, or Mitch Sperry, shared with us his quadcopter part 1 build. I was watching this kind of eagerly. I think this just came out today. Mitch is a newcomer to quadcopters as well. I just got my first 250 quad, so I'll be building one up as well. So interesting to see how he builds one up. He's definitely new to the hobby, and it's going to be a lot of fun watching it. Check out Mitch's channel if you're into electronics and programming and IoT and stuff. I think you'll like it. What the heck? See, right there is exactly why you make sure that your stream key is not the thing in the background on your second monitor. Catch up on the chat real quick while I got a second. Multi-Hobby Man said, did you see David when he did the dog licking water in the slow-mo camera? I absolutely did. It was funny, my wife was actually the first person to tell me that a dog's tongue curls around the opposite way underneath to lick water up. Seen dogs all my life, never thought twice about it, and I didn't actually fully believe it until I saw David's video on how it really works. Very, very cool. PXN America said, coworker tried to grab a Phantom after it crashed, and it got ugly. Absolutely, it sure would. Those... I won't rant anymore about the I'll be honest, that whole Dutch video about the eagles catching them really pissed me off. I was just like, really? Come on. I really wanted to do a video on it, but I didn't have the time to set up a relevant test. I was just going to use the Versa wing, which is actually a quadcopter motor powering it with a 9x6 prop on it and show that thing chew through just about anything. But I couldn't get it done this week. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Let's carry on. Boom. Back in business. So here's a channel I'm pretty sure I've never shared here before because it's not super related to the tech world unless you're into photography. The slanted lens, if you're into DSLR or just SLR photography, awesome channel. They do a great job. But I wanted to share this because we have quite a few content creators here. And this video, you'll see my comment on it probably if you're subscribed to me, and go check this out. It's one of their most recent videos. The most product placements in a single YouTube video, that means sponsored products and brand deals, in one video that I've ever seen. But it didn't detract from the content one bit. They have this awesome tutorial if you're interested in creating motion blur in your time-lapse photography. It's fairly niche. It's very cool if you do a lot of time-lapse. But they included the brand deals like the lens sponsors and neutral density filter and the head that swivels the camera in the video without being intrusive. This is truly the future of us content creators and what I aspire to with this channel, because we can't do it alone. As YouTube content creators, it is expensive for equipment and lighting, and you need to find ways to integrate those sponsorships into the video in not such an intrusive nature. Check out this video if you're a content creator and going to be working with brands in the future, because they simply did a stellar job. It's a little bit corny at times. There's a little corny in there, but that's just the nature of their channel. One of the best I've seen, and I've bookmarked it forever. Definitely learned a lot from it. Again, that is pretty much exclusive if you're a content creator or if you'd like to understand what it is to have a YouTube channel and how to work with brands and the things we need to do moving forward to take things to the next step and truly be good content creators. So, yeah. Multi-Hobby Man said that I do a great job. Thank you. I appreciate that more than you know. I love hearing from you guys. Jeff loves the slanted lens. Awesome lighting tips. Absolutely great lighting tips. Oh, amazing channel. I love it. I get tips for video and still photography. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff, guys. All right, carrying on. What else we got from the shop this week? I did a video which went live end of last week. This is more aimed towards anyone who's doing YouTube videos or who would like to understand how I do mine. And this was how I post-process my audio in Audacity. Funny enough, that video itself was not post-processed because I couldn't do the audio and the video easily linked for a couple of reasons. So it was itself unprocessed, but it showed how I do it and a couple examples of the difference you can make with just freeware software. And it was really well received. The stats on that video already show that I should probably do a few more of those type of tips and tricks videos. The stats were very, very good on it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful. It's a trick that I learned from other YouTubers. I did not invent that procedure. I learned it somewhere years ago and have just finally started using it religiously. Upcoming sneak peek on the channel. Upcoming video, this one is cut and all set. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Relay basics, so back to basics video on some electronic components and how to use relays in your Arduino circuit. A lot of mystery surrounds relays, and I take it for granted because I've just worked with them for years, and I've worked with three-phase contactors for years and all kinds of other small current controlling a large, which is basically just relays and contactors mainly, but I'm pretty happy with the video. I think you guys will like it. I think you'll like it a lot. There was a few mistakes in it. You'll find in the description. Nothing that barred it from going live, but a few frustrating things that it took me. It took me 4 takes the first night, and I had to scrap all of it. And it took 6 takes the next night, or 2 days later. I gave it a rest before I could finally get this thing done to a point where I was happy with it. So hopefully you guys like it. A little bit of back to basics, back to some electronics on the channel. RC Flyer 729, cheers. Glad you can make it. And some audio talk, good stuff. I think I'm caught up. Sorry, I got distracted with the chat tonight, guys. Tech tip of the week. This actually came up because of Mitch Sperry's video and something that I've known for a long time but take for granted a little bit. On quadcopters and drones and RC stuff, a common question comes up as to the kV rating of motors. In this case, this is one of the super common Turnigy Outrunner motors. You can see these first numbers we won't go into here. I'll just mention the kV rating of these motors. kV, for anyone that's electronics or electrical background, we always consider it's kilovolt. Well, someone changed the rules with RC stuff, and kV does not stand for that. It stands for RPM per volt. And this is really handy to understand when you're ordering brushless motors or speccing them out for a project, that it's just that simple. The kV rating is not kilovolt. It is strictly RPM per volt. So in this case, this is a slow flyer motor. This is 750 or 900. These are just random ones I pulled off the net. This is more like a slow flyer like you'd see on a small flight test aircraft. But really common question. I see it come up over and over because I don't know who picked kV as reusing that proper electrical term for RPM per volt, but they did. Maybe it's the same people that call milliamp hour mAh. But anyway, that's the tech tip this week. kV, RPM per volt, when you're speccing out brushless motors. It's just that simple. And Jeff said he just ordered some eBay relays for the grow light system. Awesome stuff. Good timing. Excellent. Thanks, Jeff. Actually, yeah, that's great. I'm glad that worked out. The reason I've had the relay video on the list for months and months, and what prompted me to do it was 2 PMs and a comment I saw in another video, and I thought, better just get it done. There was some question, what I do daytime. Yeah, I work in alternative energy in the daytime. I I did a lot of hands-on on large wind turbine generators, and now I do technical support for those large wind turbine generators. I look after the software that operates them. And I think I'm caught up. Multi-hobby man said, motor do my head in kV in mini quad motors. So confusing. Yeah, it confused the heck out of me just because I'm used to kV means kilovolts. That's what we work in. I work in kVA most of the time when we're speccing transformers and stuff, but yeah, kV. Anyway, silly. Awesome stuff, guys. That is it for the live show this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys had a good night. Hopefully you got something out of this live show. Please remember, post in the G Plus community. Hit me up on any of the socials. I'm active on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, as well as the G Plus community. I love hearing about the things that you guys are building. I have a couple of collaborative projects coming up. The portable classroom project is still in the design phase. I've got all the parts laid out. I'll try and do a video in the next few weeks on that, and I'd like to get a couple other people in on that project and a couple of things, but yeah, we'll see this summer. Definitely some collab projects. I'm really glad I got to spend tonight with you. Love you guys. Truly love you guys. You guys are an amazing group. Always huge support for the channel. Can't say enough for you. I have no words for what you guys do for this channel. So hopefully I can keep bringing you good content. I will see you. Next video will go live Friday, but no live show next week. And I will see you the following week live right here. It'll be posted on the channel. Cheers, guys.